I'm Ken Law. And I wish I was as prepared as I know how to be, but aren't yet. So that's me. So I asked Rick what he would put in his truck, and he actually does this. It's not just an academic exercise. He was somewhat like Jim Phillips, yeah. Jim took a duffel bag everywhere he went. If he needed to have space for more people, they'd have to ride on top. So here's what Rick said: food, water, a tarp, big enough to cover 2 people. He said horse blanket. I'm sure that means different things to different people. If you could find the wool ones, they're better. And Army has some like that. A heating source of some kind, some way to make a fire, make heat. Extra clothes. If you sweat a lot or you get wet in the rain, changing your clothes may save your life. He does fix-a-flat and tire plugs. Do you know, who knows what tire plugs are? I used tire plugs on my four-wheeler deep into the mountains, and that got me out because I think I put 3 in this gash on the sidewall, which you're not supposed to be able to do, but it got me out. An air compressor, make little ones that are really cool. And with his truck, he'll put in 5 gallons of gas and strap it in the back corner. A quart of oil, some transmission fluid. Although lately, if you try to do anything to your transmission, you got to take it to a dealer because they make it almost impossible to get into it. And I reminded him of something he does anyway. Maybe it's so ingrained in him that he doesn't have to think about it. Some method of protection. So,
Ken,
yeah.
tire plugs, is that the strips of rubber you put like with a big needle and you push it in and
Goop it up with cement, so it goes in, and when it comes back out, you take it out, and it sits out, but you can slice it off with a pocket knife, and frequently it will work.
Most of the time it does. I literally, 2 different cars in our family have had flats, and I've been able to repair one virtually permanently. The second one was big enough that I put 2 in, and that was enough to get me home. And I can, because it was a bigger one, I'll take the tire off and I'll put an actual patch on the inside. But it's still a good, yeah.
They're better than you think.
I think everybody should have one of those kits. You can get them cheap at Harbor Freight for $4.99.
It's a little plastic case that has different stuff in it, so you can do all this. The only thing it doesn't have is compressed air. But if you do a fix-a-flat, sometimes that will get you home too.
So I was a manager at Goodyear, service manager for several years, and their policy was plug and patch in order to make it. So you would plug it first, burnish the inside, patch it, and leave the outside, and that would seal so the steel belts don't rust.
So if you're putting most of the, it's a strip like this, and you put it in the middle, and when you push it in, it creates like a chevron that goes in, and then when you pull it out, there's about that much stub left off.
Yep.
You can trim those off, but do you trim the inside part off as well?
Burnish the inside.
So just leave that little
You
bit.
grind the inside, put a patch on the inside, and leave it sticking outside, trim the 1/4 inch.
But
And
you
the
also
glue and the
cut
rubber-
the excess that's
Yep.
sticking in. Okay, yeah.
The glue and the rubber seals the outside of the tires, so you're not getting water and salt inside that hole, rusting the steel belts and destroying the tire.
The handout is a way to start your mental juices flowing, and you will have things that you add to your kit. Maybe want a mouse? Someday we may want that much perfume.
I have some cats available.
I got so many books, there was no way I was gonna bring even a 1/10 of them. And so when we have some time afterward, take a look at some of these. Maybe you'll get an idea that will trigger something you don't have in your list or your kit.
While we're on the subject of tires, instead of Fix-A-Flat, tire repair shops hate it because it's usually a sticky goo and it's just a nightmare to clean up. There's another product and it's called Tire Ject, and it's more of a liquid, and I've seen literally videos of them just literally wiping it up with a rag, and that's that quick of a cleanup, but it has, pardon?
Jet.
Tire Ject. J-E-C-T.
In
Tire Ject. And it has aramid fibers, little pieces of ground up rubbers, and it will literally fill a hole up to a 1/4 inch and plug it permanently. It also helps seal around the bead if you have a bead leak that seems to be bothering you. And as you drive, it sloshes around and then drains down and coats everything. And,
What about the valve?
pardon?
What about the valve? Sounds like it would complicate the valve.
No, I haven't, as far as I know, what they've seen and that talked about, it works. There's also a replacement valve in case you have a valve problem. One of my tires does on the trailer. And there's a Colby, C-O-L-B-Y. They have a valve repair that you can literally just, without taking the tire off at all, you literally just cut the old one off, push the little thing in so it'll bounce around the side, whatever. But then you can put the new one in from the outside, tighten it down, and it's a semi-permanent replacement valve, and you can fix that problem too. And there's also a sidewall repair now for side-by-sides, and I've seen a guy actually do it on a bigger tire. 65 Ford is a YouTube channel, and he shows you how he repairs a sidewall, and it uses just a 3M glue that's super, super strong. Literally, they tried peeling off the patch and it literally pulled rubber off. So the seal bonded better, so well that it was literally tearing the rubber off the tire if you tried to pull it off. So that's another option for fixing the sidewall too.
But not for a highway tire.
I'm not sure he had it on sidewalls, but I know there's a company that is actually making a sidewall.
No. From a tire shop guy, the goops you put into them mess up your valves, and if you have a small air compressor, it will come back out there and it will gum up and ruin your compressor. When you take it to the tire shop, it's nearly impossible to find the leak until you leave the tire shop. So avoid them if at all possible. If you use it in the middle of nowhere to get home, plan on replacing the tire. And there is no tire company in the world that approves a sidewall repair. If it's more than that far away from the tread area, it has to be replaced. Not saying you can't do it.
No, I'm just saying that if you're out Wheeling where I go 5 miles or
Sure.
5 hours from
It is
pavement,
it's not a highway repair.
this is gonna get you.
You might be able to limp it home,
Right.
but it is
Oh,
not
no,
approved by
it's-
any tire manufacturer
It's not a permanent repair.
anywhere.
Okay, in this handout, you've got a place for some notes. Hopefully you get something useful from tonight that you can write it in your own notes. And then the trick is to actually do something with it. If you go online, you can probably find 100, or is it 500 lists that somebody's made to tell you how you ought to do stuff like this. Well, all of them, if they trigger some thought and some action, then they can be good, and then you find out what else you need. One of the places that I found a bunch of lists, and I did not print them out, free publications, this is from ready.gov, brochures for families. Is that another one, or is that the same one? No.
Use your brain, huh?
Yeah. Anyway, brochures for emergency supply lists of all kinds, general preparedness, hazard information sheets. I looked at a bunch of them because they were about weather-related things, and we're going into a time of year where weather-related emergencies can happen. And here's the different hazard information sheets that they have in English and other: active shooter, avalanche, cyber attack, earthquake, extreme heat, financial emergency, flood, hurricane, landslide, novel pandemic, power outage, thunderstorm, lightning and hail, tornado, tsunami, volcano, wildfire, and winter storm. So we could broaden this whole subject to cover everything, but we're not. We're just going to do a bit of it as we get into the cold and icy season. Some of you probably came before I dragged that in the back, that sand tube that's sitting on the hand truck back there. I had a little, it was a Nissan King Cab, and I had 3 of us, and we're hunting deer east of Heber. No, this was north of Strawberry Reservoir. We got beautiful Robin Bay. We got up high in the mountains, and because it was so good weather and the snow was melting slightly, so we had traction in the snow somewhat. Came down a ridge, went off and did our hunting, and then got us all back in and tried to go back up that ridge. By then it had gotten cold, everything was slipperier, and I would just spin sideways, and down was not a good idea. But I had 2 of those sand tubes in the back. I cut
Filled
one,
with sand?
filled with sand. Yeah, they use them for lots of things, including keeping water out of your basement if you know how to stack them. So we used a little shovel I had and made the lines in front of the 4-wheel drive wheels, and thought, once I've got momentum, I should be able to keep going. No. I went until I ran out of the sand, and then it was off, and it was spooky. So then I had to use that whole entire sand tube and get it up till we were not on the incline anymore, we were level, and then I could get out. And then the storm hit. If we'd have been stuck there, I'm uncertain what the outcome would have been, because there was 3 of us in this little pickup. Now, maybe there was enough heat from 3 pretty big, good-sized guys inside there. Maybe we could have survived it, but it would not have been comfortable. And the idea of spending the night there was scary. And the only way we got back down to Heber was to follow one of those big petroleum trucks. I guess he was high enough up he could see over what was down at the road level. It was wind and snow. I mean, when you turn the lights on, it looks like this coming at you. Have you ever turned your lights off and gone into one of those storms? There's times, circumstances, where you can see better without your lights than with them.
Or using sunglasses?
I have not done that.
Do what?
Wearing sunglasses.
With the lights on.
Well,
Or not.
I was in a snowstorm once, coming back from a funeral. The snow, it was in the afternoon, but it was a whiteout, and I couldn't see, and I'm praying, and I had the Spirit tell me, put on my sunglasses, and I thought it was the silliest thing I'd ever heard, but I had them on the visor, so I put them on, and sure enough, I could see.
I've argued with inspiration. I sometimes came around and got it right. Anyway, there's a bunch of just different things in here. Some of the stuff that you're looking at came from this ready.gov. Some came from this book, From Band-Aids to Self-Sufficiency. And he's got tons and tons of stuff that could be useful. So, yes. Did you, you're moving the
I
camera.
want to further the comment I made. So you can also get the yellow glasses that you can use at night in the snowstorm. So with your lights on or not, but the yellow glasses can help, and I have them in our car as part of our preparedness stuff.
I think skiers and snowmobilers will
Right.
use the yellow in some conditions.
Correct.
If you'll turn your headlights off and just use your yellow parking lamps, that accomplishes similar thing. And if it's really bad and you have the rumble strips on the side of the road, drive on the rumble strip, and you can feel where you are.
And
And
hear
you're
it.
also not in the packed ice. You're in fresh snow because you've moved off fresh snow and you're not driving on ice.
And when you stop hearing rumble strips, that's bad.
Yeah, you got further than you would have the other way.
Well, if you go far enough, then you hear the left
Yeah.
rumble strips. Okay, turn the page to what is some suggestions about vehicles. Now, some of these things just are common sense, but not to all people.
Suggestions about vehicles.
There's different safety issues you ought to be concerned about.
I don't see that in here.
There's nothing in here. Okay.
The auto kit,
Yeah,
the auto kit,
no, that's the kit.
Start your car.
Well, whatever happened? Oh, here it is. Well, it's right on the front page. Some car safety kits.
Oh.
Tips. My wife will frequently let the gas run down to fumes, and then we've gotta get gas before we can do anything. And sometimes it's not convenient. So I try to encourage her, when it hits half, fill it. So there's that. Good winter tires, enough tread. And then there's times when you have to have chains or studs or a triple peak, 3-peak designation on your mud and snow tires. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Yeah,
3 little mountain peaks.
yes. And there's,
Sidewall tire.
yeah, there's situations where they'll let you go up a canyon that is requiring chains. If you've got those tires, you can go without chains.
Can you explain that a little bit, what it is?
It's, I guess it's the tread of the tire and the composition of
Yeah,
the
the
tire.
compound that,
There's a little icon on the sidewall of the tire
Yeah,
that has the 3 peaks on, and embossed into the tire. And got 3 little peaks, and that certifies that that's a real winter snow tire, not a all-season fuzzy feeling tire. It's a snow tire.
if you remember the commercials years ago for Blizzak tires, they showed how much better they are on snow and ice. This is a whole category that's similar to that. It's a certain kind of compound that makes them more sticky and grippy on ice and slippery surfaces.
But the insects will not get into my property in the winter when you're pushing snow with the bumper of the truck. You need real tires.
Yeah.
real vehicle, okay. Then it talks about driving in flooded areas.
wait, can we go back to that for a minute? I have an experience that I'd like to share. If you're going to put chains on, it's better to learn how to do it besides in the middle of the snowstorm.
That's for sure.
And if you're going to help somebody else, like a young girl who's got the chains but doesn't have a clue how to put them on, if you're going to go out to help someone, you need to put on the hat that you have in the car and your gloves, and not just jump out in a hurry, but take the time to protect yourself before you go out to help somebody else.
You sound like there's experience in that.
There's an experience in that.
My son gave me a set of, I think they call them something socks, snow socks maybe. So I've got a pair of snow socks. I don't know if it matches any of my tires right now. But he lives in Reno and snowmobiles into California or around in Reno. And if you get into California, there are very treacherous situations, and they will, more than ticket you, they will impound your vehicle with, if you don't have chains or snow socks or something on your trailer. Because going sideways with the trailer takes out lots of other cars and stuff. So I gotta figure out how to use those. Disable your vehicle's cruise control while driving on slippery, icy, snowy roads. Have you ever experienced that firsthand, what it's like if you're not heeding that counsel.
You hydroplane.
Well, it's more than hydroplane. They're just going, and so it wants to turn you where you don't wanna go. Let's see. Power line falls in your car, you're at risk of electrical shock. Stay inside until a trained person removes the wire. But if that's 3 months, you gotta do something different. I don't know what the right answer is, but that electrical thing, especially if it's high powered, then it can take control. Let's see what else. Here's some things to check. And a lot of our, especially elderly citizens, especially of the female persuasion, because they didn't learn it like the guys learned it, unless they had a dad like I was. I made my daughters learn how to change the tire. I could watch, and if they were gonna be in trouble, then I could give some counsel that they had to change the tire. And they had to do stuff like that, or they can't drive my car, and they can't have a car, they can't own a car till they're 18, so I was a tough guy. So they need to know about antifreeze, battery levels, brakes, exhaust system, fuel, air filters, and on and on and on. And have some things in your vehicle, so even if you can't use them, somebody coming along to help can use your tools and get you out of a jam. Like jumper cables or flares or reflective triangles. By the way, I bought flares today for 2 reasons. One, I think I ought to have some just because they're cool. And the other is, if you want to kill ground squirrels in their burrows, there are bombs for that. Or, Heber Allen told me that he just uses road flares. Sticks it inside there, covers it up, ruins their whole day. What else? Car cell phone charger, a blanket, map, kitty litter or sand for better tire traction. We've talked about that. And here's somebody's idea of a auto kit. What would you add to this? You could add and add and add until your full-size pickup is full, and then you need a trailer or a bread truck or a semi. You could keep adding till it's ridiculous. So what would you add to this? Yeah. Good clothes.
You might be spending the night in that vehicle. And you may remember the blizzard that happened in Birmingham, Alabama about a decade ago. I mean, it doesn't snow in Alabama. But they had this freak blizzard down there, and the whole interstate for 50 miles was just a big log jam of vehicles and trucks, you know, buried in the snow, and people froze to death in those cars. Cause they won't, like, where I just retired from a pharmaceutical company, and I can't believe how many people did not have an ice scraper in their car. So, you know, I've got the big long one, you know, the industrial thing. And, everybody's borrowing my ice scraper. You know, AutoZone is open 7 days a week, you know?
Costco has good ones, the long ones.
The big
for
long ones, the telescoping ones.
$10 or something, yeah.
Yeah, so, and they don't have gloves. So, I don't know what to tell you, but these are adults who make drugs.
If you wanna have a, that's scary. If you wanna have a good laugh, park yourself near a high school or junior high school as the kids are coming or going in snowy weather, cold weather.
Without a coat.
They're wearing shorts.
Flip-flops.
Yeah.
Oh, but it won't happen to them.
No.
So I wanted to, before I forget, this is the N3B Arctic Parka. And you can buy these online from Coleman Military Surplus. They're new. And these are rated for 60 below zero. And what really makes this particularly unique, if you go to REI and spend $500 on a parka, it's got a really crappy little hood made for mountain climbers that has, you know, it doesn't keep the snow and rain out of your face. But this has what's called a snorkel hood. And so when you zip this thing all the way up, you get this tunnel like this, and the blowing snow doesn't blow in your face. Okay? So, I mean, when I'm working out in a blizzard with this,
Show behind you.
huh?
There's a
Oh.
lady behind you.
Okay, I'm listening.
You can try it on if you want. Anyway, I brought it, so it's a small, so you got to be small to try it on, but it's well worth the money.
You said Coleman Military
Coleman's Military Surplus.
Surplus.
Coleman or Pullman?
Coleman, like Coleman stove.
Okay, Coleman.
Coleman lantern.
So about how much are they then?
They're about $200, $175 somewhere around there, but they're brand new. And they're made, now there's Chinese knockoffs.
They
The-
want to kill us. Oh,
Yeah, the Chinese knockoffs, but this has, the manufacturer tag in it.
You said, you gave a model number, what was
It's
that?
an N, like November, 3B. I wore one on my mission in Canada. Mission president tried to make me not wear it, and he called my dad, and my dad says, he's gonna wear whatever he thinks he needs to protect himself from 40 below zero weather, and if you don't like it, you can send him home, we got things he can do around here. So I wore it anyway.
So
Anyway.
Coleman's Military.
Coleman Military Surplus. Nice people. These are not, don't have any bullet holes in them or anything, they're brand new. There's a lot of stitching and mil-spec materials that go into these. These are not field jackets, these are actually warm.
Cool.
So this may be your house someday. Okay?
Yeah, that's your
Shelter
shelter.
could be, if your clothing is correct, it will be your shelter.
So Jim Phillips loves these parkas because if you can't take the time and do the labor and everything to build one of his foam parkas, this is the next best thing.
Great.
I have like 15 of them.
And you get them online at that place?
Yeah, just go online and Google Coleman Military Surplus N3B parka, boom.
Okay, is there, on that page it says auto kit, is there anything you'd wanna add?
Space blankets.
Oh, Coast Guard rations.
Yeah?
Coast Guard rations are designed to live in a boat or a life raft or your car, the trunk of your car for 5 years in summer heat and winter cold. And it's basically like, I think it's 3,000 calories per daily
A
ration.
brick or something?
Yeah, it's a brick and it tastes like Toll House cookie, chocolate chip cookie dough.
That's
But
not bad.
it's made, when you're hungry and you're cold, it's good stuff.
Depends on which
Anyway,
brand.
But it's designed to
It's
live
only
in your
better.
car, not like an MRE, which will freeze.
You said something,
Space blankets, they're a lot less money than your cool park ice. But if you get 2 or 3 or 4 or half a dozen 99-cent space blankets, you can wrap them around your legs, you can wrap them around your body, you can share them with friends.
have you tried them?
Yes,
And you say that they're effective?
they work.
They also have them in a sleeping, or a space
They have them
bag.
in tubes, yes.
I tried, back when I was younger and we lived in Orem, and we were really into preparedness, I took one of the absolute cheapest, kind of like tube, space blanket, that's made to be like a sleeping bag you can get into, and I tried sleeping in it, and it kept me warm, but the condensation was very uncomfortable.
Doesn't breathe.
But it's cause it's, but I just crouched down like this and like crouching on the ground, but just by feeling the ground, they put the thing over me, and so it wasn't on me, and it stayed, and I was just in my underwear, and it stayed. It was probably, I don't know, maybe 15 degrees outside, and it was totally comfortable inside that, with just the cheapest like dollar
Yeah.
space.
The
tube
Mylar,
space
the
blanket.
Mylar is 99.9% reflective.
Yeah.
So it will keep the cold in and the heat out, or the heat in and cold out.
It's not
Yeah.
comfortable, but it really,
It's
you're not gonna
warm.
freeze to death in it.
Okay?
Okay, I have another example. We were coming home earlier this year in, coming down 89, and a deer came out and hit our car, the front end, And so we didn't have
The
heat.
deer hit your car?
The deer hit my
You
car.
didn't hit the
I
deer.
didn't hit the deer, he came and hit our car.
I did that.
And so it affected our heat. So we were stranded there for a while and it started getting real cold, cause when you're down by Indianola, it gets a lot colder than any place else. So it doesn't have to be a snowstorm that we need this. It can be
Mhm.
something else that we encounter.
Got a blanket on here, not a cotton blanket, either a wool blanket or a microfiber blanket, because they stay warm even if they're wet.
Even microfiber?
A good quality microfiber will, but
Fleeces will
wool is
too.
by far the absolute best. They might be itchy, they might be scratchy, you might not like them, but wool will retain heat soaking wet.
And then, of course, Phillips and now and Keith Chandler's, those blankets keep you warm and they breathe, so you're not with condensation on yourself. I have one that I use all winter, just it only.
That new Game Changer's pretty phenomenal. Guys have tested that, even engineers, and they've literally slept out where it's very cold at night. And they put the sprinklers on, so it's sprinkling on them all night long. And they're able to stay dry and warm inside there without any vapor barriers, so it doesn't build up the humidity and the mugginess like a space blanket might. And it's a game changer, it really is.
One of these items in here was money. Do you have money or do you just use plastic?
You need small denominations because you don't wanna buy a loaf of bread with $100 bill.
Decades ago, my son and I wanted to get into silver, and it was at a time when it was really hot item, and we couldn't find it except in 70-pound bar of pure silver. How do you spend a 70-pound bar? At the time, it was only about, I don't remember now, $10,000, $11,000, $12,000 for that bar, which is now worth, I don't know, 4 times that or something. Now,
It's $52 an ounce today.
52.
52.
I think it was 1,000 ounces. What does that come out to 70 pounds? Somebody with a calculator find that.
You could buy a car with that.
Yeah,
A truck.
without gas in it.
Because it wasn't going to be easily used, we found a place in Utah County on the west side of the freeway near Center Street-ish that would take precious metals and put them into coins.
Mint them for you.
So we couldn't do United States currency, but we could do something that was even close. I've got 1 ounce rounds, they're called rounds. It's a Indian head nickel. Looks really cool. And they had about 4 or 5 different patterns I could choose. So I said, well, give me some of each. So I don't wanna carry that thing anywhere, but
Were they marked as a certain weight?
I'm not even sure of that. And there's no way to prove that it was, I think it was 3 nines, 0.999 silver when we bought it. But coming from the mint, they could prove that was that, but I can't prove what came out of it is. Anyway, what else? See anything else here? Things that you ought to have, documents, we did have that discussion a couple of weeks ago about having your documents if you have to go somewhere in a hurry. Fire extinguisher. Shovel is, if you get off the dry pavement, gotta have some kind of a shovel.
Toe strap.
Excellent. Toe strap. Even if, if you're gonna need some help.
Do you have a battery jump starter on the list? I can't see one.
Jumper cables is 9.
Yeah, but they have these small kits about this big. They have a battery or capacitor that's in them that I've seen them jumpstart cars before, and I actually got a couple, and I've actually been able to jump, depending on the situation or the condition of the vehicle. when it's just low, it's enough that you're able to get the car started and, or you can get the bigger ones with the compressor built in and it has a battery and it has the little jumper cables. It's a little bit more robust, or quite a bit more robust, but there are some options of having your own way of jump starting your own vehicle if there's no other vehicle.
Costco has that thing you're talking about, and it's $60. Once in a while it'll go on sale.
They're really great as long as you charge them.
Gotta keep it
That
charged.
helps.
So if they're left in the trunk for months and months on end, you have them, but they're absolutely worthless.
Okay.
So schedule the charging.
Charge
Yeah,
them, you know,
program
every
your
couple of
phone,
weeks, once a
recurring
month.
messages, maybe
Put it
once a
on
month.
some kind of a preventive maintenance list for yourself, because it's really cool to have, but if there's no juice, it's just ballast.
Changing the subject, I went to the Forest Service and some of the sporting goods stores like Sportsman's, looking for paper or plasticized paper maps. They don't even sell them anymore. And I needed I've got a hunting zone that's up east of Salt Lake City, and trying to find a really good detailed map for that, I got the south half of it. Maybe I got Sanpete County and didn't get what I was looking for, and I tried to go to a Forest Service place now, and it's got this little sign, due to government, whatever it was. We'll let you know when we start up again.
REI has Nat Geo,
That's what I thought-
National
I thought
Geographic,
they did.
and they are made out of slick paper that is water. And they have a part of the map on one side, the other part on the other side, and then our county takes two of those, and so I've got both of those with my search and rescue kit. So if phones go down, GPS go down, we still have a hard copy of that. And Delorme, is a company that makes those books with the maps, and you can get one for your state, and it does a pretty good zoom in on each of the pages. On the back, it shows your state, and it shows you which one of the little squares is covering the area that you're looking for, and it's on page 37. You go to 37 and 38, that covers your area more zoomed in, but you can also get one that is for the whole United States. So I suggest everybody get the one for their state and the one for the US, because sometimes you're gonna be traveling out, and we've traveled out through Wyoming and Nebraska all the way over to Missouri, and I didn't have that one there, and I finally found one at a truck stop that still had those.
This is
REI? Yeah, this was different.
You can get those at truck stops, Delorme. I think Terrell's actually has some for some states.
You talking about a topographic or a road atlas?
No.
I'm talking about
Oh, yeah,
a road
road
map, and they do have some that have the contour lines. It's not like my military, GMR or NGRS.
You gotta decide what you're doing. If you're going off-road, you want a USGS. If you're going on road atlas.
Yeah.
Or you can get the Nat Geos. The Nat Geos are good. They have all the contour lines and everything. And they have all the service roads all across the European roads.
Well, we've got a whole generation or two that are depending on GPS on their device or in their vehicle. I love it when it works.
Get the maps once a year too, because lots of things change. I've got some old ones, and they are way outdated.
The Navy just started, well, about 2 or 3 years ago, they started teaching all their people how to use a sextant again.
Good, that's good.
Compass.
Wow.
Because they know they can't depend on the GPS constellation.
Kim said a compass is not a bad idea. That can be part of your survival kit, so you can take it with you if you have to leave your vehicle. But know how to use it. There's a lot of good tutorials on YouTube, show you how to read a train and shoot an azimuth, convert from magnetic to grid. It's a lot of good tutorials there.
Anything else you'd add to this? What are we missing?
Tell me about the battery kit. What are you thinking with that?
The battery kit, I think that,
That's probably what we were talking about.
yeah, it's just a little, it's in a case, cause it's got some jumper cables that are short. You just practically have to lay it on the battery, and you charge it up at home, and it's got enough juice in it, enough amps to turn over in some conditions.
The car battery,
Even
okay.
even more than that. Anyway,
That's the smaller capacitor one, and you don't leave it on forever. I mean, it's just, it usually gives
Just
enough to get it going. It's not like, we're gonna try this 10 times and you know.
This
it's-
goes back to proper vehicle maintenance, you know, before winter gets here, if your battery's 3, 4 years old,
Yeah, that's right.
get
there
a
in
new
there.
one.
when does it die?
That's on the
Summer
prepare.
kills batteries, winter finishes them off.
It's good to know. It's happened to me, yeah.
Okay, I've got one.
Clean
more.
the post.
This summer, my husband we had stopped at a restaurant, he was eating and he started to choke. And it quickly became an emergency. And so now I have one of those devices to pull out one
Yeah.
if you're choking, just a suction kind of thing.
Did you try the Heimlich maneuver?
I actually did, and I don't think that was his problem. It had gone down into we think his esophagus, but he was throwing up and doing everything he could to try and expel it. Ended up calling 911, who came and helped, but now I just have that choking thing in the car.
So how did they get it out?
Is that the life back?
He did,
That's
I
one of
don't
the
think
brands
that
that
it
I've got.
was anything, I mean, he was throwing up, so it could have been just from that. But
Was it in his lung?
no, I don't think it was in his lung. It was in his esophagus.
Well, then the
And
throwing up would have taken it out.
right, but he didn't, it's like he didn't get, resolved. He was still,
Oh,
it was to the point where, cause I thought he wanted me to do the Heimlich, and, he ultimately said, no, that's not what he was wanting. He wanted me to call 911. So, we were,
what have you heard about Heimlich, the Heimlich maneuver?
Can I jump in on that?
I'd like you to.
I'm wrapping up the end of the advanced EMT class, which has some advanced life-saving training in between basic EMT and paramedic. They used to say, never pat a person on the back when they're choking, or if they can breathe at all, don't, just let them work it out and do their coughing, choking, whatever they can do to get it out. But don't pat them on the back when they're upright, because all you're doing is like, if you're pouring flour into a container and you have just a little bit, and you want to fit that last little bit in, you pound the thing and it settles, and that's what you're doing. You're getting that thing even further. But they just recently changed that with the American Heart Association. They're now saying you can pat them on the back, but only if they're leaning all the way forward, so that can help to jolt it loose, but not upright where gravity's gonna pull it down even further. And of course, kids, and I had a daughter who passed away as a result of a choking accident. And if you do the back blows and then chest compressions to, like I'm like, to get it out. And we've actually taught a stop the bleed and a CPR class. I don't know if we taught one here yet. Did we do that? I've done it down there, and I've done it a couple places. But if you're gonna do that with a baby, make sure that they're aiming down, they're face down, and then you can do the back blows, and that helps to dislodge it. So, but be very careful. You can do Heimlich on yourself just by leaning down or just giving it to yourself if you have to. And there's a training device that you literally strap on, and the person gets around and practice it, and they have this little foam cork thingy that if you're doing it right, it actually will pop that thing out. And I've actually done that on myself. So it would be good to, any chance you get a CPR and stop the bleed class. And every time they have it, I always take it, even if it's been only a year, because it's good for like 2 years sometimes. But I just do it just because I want that knowledge, because the second you learn something, it starts to degrade. The second you're finished, stop doing it, it's gonna start to degrade, because your mind's filled with everything else, and you get dust and rust and barnacles stuck on your knowledge, right? And then until you clear that off and keep those skills super fresh, then you've got that skill to fall back on without having to think. But it's been a while. I stopped in an accident 18 years after my last EMT course, and I performed so badly. The firefighters took pity on me, said he was dead, don't worry, he was gone. it wasn't you, you know, and he, 400-pound guy with a zipper on his chest, and the people described that he was gone. But I performed so badly, I thought I better go back and get some more training, and then I ended up
What have you
becoming.
heard about the amount of pressure it takes to do Heimlich?
You're not supposed to practice on a live person, and even if you do, they should go get checked out, because if you didn't do it just right, there's a thing called the xiphoid process. It's the bottom of your sternum, and it's a little bone that sticks out. And if you did it wrong, that theoretically could poke into your liver and cause some internal damage. So you should go get checked out and make sure that that's not a problem. But
Well, then
I-
correct my impression. of
Halfway
what I
between-
heard, that if you're not breaking ribs, you're not doing it hard enough.
that's CPR.
Has CPR, yeah.
That's CPR.
Oh, okay.
And what it is you're actually cracking this sternum. It's not really the ribs as much, but the Heimlich, you're not doing anything over the ribs unless it's a pregnant woman. And you can do the Heimlich over the chest, and that can help, but it's just halfway between the navel, and so just find the navel and put one fist there, the other fist over that, and keep that thumb out, and then you kind of go up and in, in and then up a little as you're going under the ribs, and that helps and just keep trying that. And, but yeah, take that CPR, maybe we can schedule a stop the bleeding CPR class.
What are we missing?
Paper and pencil,
What were those?
Paper and
on the
pencil.
list.
Oh, you said something, I didn't hear, what was it?
Oh, I didn't say that.
I said signal.
Paper and pencil on the list, I don't think you, for taking notes, like, her husband wanted her to do the call 911, not the time that he maybe could have written it.
But when we had the deer hit us, I started taking notes, what mile marker we were at, so that when I did, and we were in a place where I didn't have reception, but you can make an emergency call. And what we found out later is I could have asked that dispatcher to call our son-in-law, who ended up helping us, but we waited for the hour for the highway patrolman to come. And so, but I did have paper and pencil, and I started immediately taking notes. Our speed limit, where we were at, our speed, all the details.
How many of you have hit a deer or been hit by a deer or elk or something? Oh, most of you.
2, 3, 4, 5.
It's pretty popular.
Yeah, it's a new sport.
I almost did about 4 times today coming here.
Wow.
Four different incidents.
You
And a
need
raccoon.
to get your sights
A
fixed.
raccoon.
Now, the raccoons are fair game.
It's cycle deer time.
Take them out.
He was running, and I was like, I am freaking going to hit this raccoon. But I didn't.
So you're not a chick magnet, you're a chick that is a magnet.
Well, I was coming from backpacking with my friend and his 2 young sons, and I had a young son, and we're in a little Nissan King Cab pickup. In fact, it was the same one. It was getting lost on the mountain. We were coming back from the Uintas near Soapstone Campground, and a bull moose. He wasn't huge. He was only this big. Not this big.
It's only 600 pounds.
Yeah, not 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Came out of the trees, and he wasn't going really fast, but fast enough that he was there. And by the time I got my foot on the brake, I'd already hit him. And all I hit was the trailing hoof, just this. And I did a little calculation. If we were going 50 and he was going, I don't know, 15, 20, I don't know what they run at. If I'd have did the calculation, it was something like 1/10 of a second sooner I'd have gone under his belly.
That would have come on top.
It would have sheared the pickup cab at the base of the windshield right there. Would have killed us that were in the, and I hesitate to say this, but for entertainment value I will. My son begged that he could be in the sleeping bag on the gear in the bed of the truck. But there was just too crowded in that little king cab. And he,
I came across an accident in Montana that had the 2-lane highway backed up for like 3 hours, and it was a family that was in a Cadillac, and they hit a horse walking across the road, took the whole top of the car off, and the EMTs and the fire department was in that car for a couple of hours trying to get a backboard on them and get them out of there.
Are they still alive?
They were alive, but they were a mess.
Yeah.
Force entrails
Yeah.
all throughout.
We went on a call, Black Angus, just down here, and, or over on the highway over there. And it demolished the car, all 4 people were shaken up, but luckily they did not die, but that Black Angus in the dark.
Can't see them.
And you can't see them, and luckily they survived, and we encouraged every one of them to still go get checked out.
In
They refused transport.
Cache Valley, I was up there working away from home, and Cache Valley's full of dairies. Cache Valley cheese, you've heard of that, and the other.
Of what?
Cheese,
Dairies.
the dairies for the
Dairies.
cheese.
Oh, dairies.
So I'm driving home, it's Friday night, and we're gonna get to go home to our families, and I see this dog out in front. It's dusk, and I see a dog. Well, the dog will get out of the way. Well, as I got closer, it wasn't the top of a white dog. It was the bottom, the belly of a black cow. And it was all I could do to not go under that thing. And that would have ruined our wives and families.
Well, it depends on what vehicle you have. I know Rick, I helped him go down and pick up a nice big bull bar for the front to help with bouncing deer off and stuff, and the deer take out the hood and the fenders and radiator. But that reminds me of another thing. If we're talking cars, we have a different situation, but if we have a truck or a pickup, or I like four-wheel drive vans or SUVs, the High Lift, the company that makes the handyman or farm jack, the High Lift jack, they're famous for off-roaders, and farms, they make a new one, and I want one bad. It's called the First Responder High Lift jack. It's like a High Lift jack on steroids, and it's fantastic.
I don't know what a high lift jack is.
Like a fence jack.
It's the big tall one, and it has the big handle, and you have to be very careful and learn how to use it properly, but you pull it down and it slowly ratchets it up. But then also you can use it as a come along, or a way of winching. You can hook something to a tree and then hook something to that, and you can ratchet it and it will pull something out. You can use it to actually compress something. It's very versatile. They call them farm jacks because they've been used in farms for decades and decades and decades. But this new High Lift one is so impressive. They have training videos on YouTube. If you look High Lift First Responder Jack and you look on YouTube, they are literally extricating people out of cars very quickly, showing you how to do it this way, how to do it this way, how to use this to pull the steering column off of the person if they're jammed in there, how to move this. And they're really great for, I would think, CERT as well, because you know that they teach us cribbing and using those pry bars to lift it up and then slide more blocks. You can literally get 1 or 2 of those and you could lift something off them super fast. It's just super versatile. And it's a high lift, so you can use it like a regular high lift jack, which is super versatile already. And so I checked that out. But when you were talking about calling, I wanted to mention that Search and Rescue was giving a premium subscription for free to all the Search and Rescue members for Onyx Off-Road. It's an app that lets you track your trails and routes, like you're going to your favorite hunting spot or you found this cool new camping spot. You can mark it and then share it with your friends, and then they know where to go to your favorite little spot that you discovered. But they also have a new feature that it will actually show you the cell tower footprints of the 3 top phone services. So if my phone it uses the T-Mobile network. It's not through T-Mobile, but it uses their network, and you can set it so it'll show you where you're getting service. So if you want to go camping and you want to camp at a place where you still have service, you can call for help in case somebody has a heart attack or an episode that they need help. Then you can do that. If you want to make sure that the kids aren't wasting all their time on the phone and getting out in nature, you can park just away out of there in the dead zone so they're not wasting all their time doing that, but you still know where you can go to get service. That's another option. Plus, you can put all 3 of them on there, and that will allow you to use, like you said, just about any cell network, whatever, you can usually dial 911 or text them. And if you have the iPhone, they now have, they work
locator?
with well, they also let you text.
Satellite.
If you have T-Mobile proper, I don't have T-Mobile, but I use their network, but if you have T-Mobile proper, as soon as you are through texting, because it's through the cell towers, and all of a sudden you're out of the area, and you're no longer hitting the cell tower, they have a contract with Starlink, and you can text through that, so you still have comms that way. And most of the Galaxy, what is it, Samsung, most of those will have that. I have an old one, and I don't have that capability, but just so you know, you can get that app and find out where the cell coverage is, and 911, if you're gonna get anything, 911 will do it.
This evening is to trigger us to do something that maybe we haven't looked at for a year or since last spring. So hopefully you'll go do some checking and do some things.
I don't see any signaling stuff on here. I mean,
I like what he said about the mirror.
they've got headlamps. Well, who's gonna change a headlamp? Who cares? You know, an air gauge, it's kinda too late if it's up enough to drive. I mean, there's a lot of things that are really cool for normal maintenance, but if you're stuck by the side of the road and the cell phones are down and you've been able to get some message out, you ought to have signal flares or road flares. You ought to have a signal mirror or a mirror of some sort. You ought to have, you know, a way to start a fire. And by all means, if you cannot get moving, first and foremost, stop working on the stupid car, create heat, and be prepared to put out 3 flares. If you see anything in the air, you hear anything, that's the international distress sign. But if you don't have anything that you can signal with, having made 3 piles of brush that you can run out and light 3 piles of brush on fire, it's easier to crack 3 flares, it's easier to put out 3 strobe lights, 3 orange flags, something like that, so that someone somewhere knows that you may be in distress. Forget the car, light it on fire if you have to. I mean, you know, in all seriousness, if you have the choice of getting rescued, light the car on fire. It's insured.
There's another thing with the cars, so you all know Jim Phillips. The foam in your car seat can be used in an emergency situation as well.
Insulation.
Yep.
Good reminder.
The mirror, you can take the rear view mirror off and you can use that for signal. Real quick, super tutorial. You put it either at the side of your eye or under your eye. If it's under your eye, you're gonna be moving it up and down. If it's at the side of your eye, you're gonna be moving it left or right. But you take your arm and you put it up, you make a V, and then you get the light to shine on your arm where let's say that vent is a plane and it's up in the sky and there's no tree to show you where the light's going, but your hand will. And so you take the mirror and you move it around till the light's on your arm, and then you move it up to where it's going up and past your fingers, but some of it's going through your fingers. And if you're doing it sideways, you go left and right, and some of that light is gonna go through there and it's gonna hit the plane. And, or I like it underneath because it's just a little bit easier for me to do that, and I go up and down, and that way you can signal the plane. And of course you do 3s, you do 3 short bursts and three long ones and 3 short ones, that's SOS. And if a plane is seeing you flash them, or even passengers, hey, stewardess, I'm sorry, flight attendant.
What kind of excitement will you create if you use a little handheld laser?
You know what? If you
You'll
come
get
arrest me,
attention.
please, I'll at least be alive, you know, and literally.
You'll get
There's a
attention.
gentleman who has a laser, and he put one of those blade ones on there that makes it a straight line. And he has that filter over the front, and he's able to use that to sweep the horizon, because instead of having to aim, where is it aiming, he just has a line, and he's able to sweep the horizon. And anybody on the hill, down low or up high, and he just keeps, you know, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. and that little blade of laser light will shine, and I don't think the plane's gonna complain about that. It's not gonna be that powerful, especially if it's up at 25, 30,000. But you're gonna hopefully get some attention, and it's a great way to
Yeah,
signal.
military aircraft, people are gonna come talk to you.
Yeah, don't be
Please-
shining that thing right in their
please
cockpit when
come
they're
talk to
landing, or
me.
you're gonna get some serious visitors.
Please come talk to me.
Oh, and on the phone, I always carry extra batteries for my phone, but I also carry extra ways to charge or to power my phone. And if you're in the car, you need one of those little adapters that has at least two, I'm thinking, some of them have four, you get them from truck shops and stops, but they have 4 USB-A outlets. At least two, because that way you and your spouse could at least plug in, if your car's stranded, but you still have the battery from the car, then you can plug it in and keep your phone going, even though it's, your phone might be near dead, but you can plug it into your cigarette adapter. This one has the prong, so it's an AC charger, but it'll also be able to charge several. It does USB-C, and it has micro USB in case you have something you need to charge it with that. And if you have an old Lightning's going away. Most of the new phones, even Apple, are gonna have USB-A or USB-C. And it has a USB-A output and a USB-C to USB-C, so you could charge like 4 devices plus charge up your battery if you have an AC outlet somewhere.
What kind of phone is that?
It's not a phone, it's just a battery pack that has the built-in prongs. So I have a way of charging my phone up through AC, or I have a one through doing DC through my car.
In the car, there's no thing I can plug anything into, but there's a lighter.
That's the socket.
So that's the.
Yeah, you get a little one
adapter for
that's like the old spotlight, the end that goes in there. And it has usually 2 USB-A outputs, and then you can plug your cable, and always carry your extra cables. Always carry a charging cable and an extra battery, but I've got plenty of batteries on my person that I could probably go for days. And this is my phone, and the case has a battery in it. And so when I go plug it in, it's not only charging my phone, but it's charging the case, and you don't think I'm charging the case, you're just plugging it in like you would any phone. But you also get both of them to charge up at the same time, and it even has its own USB-A output. So I have a short little stubby, and I plug my earbuds into that. And so my phone and my earbuds are charging at night, plus the extra battery that's built into the case.
What's that called?
I don't know the name of it. This is, I don't know the name, but if you do phone cases with batteries, you can find some options there. I just like the one that has a built-in kickstand and a built-in USB-A output, so you can charge. If you had one and you had your phone and you're not using the battery in here, you could at least have that in reserve, and then you could actually charge up somebody else's phone, or power it long enough for them to make a text message and send it out, hey, I'm okay, disaster happened, but I'm not part of it, I'm alive. And
That's a phone case?
the phone slides into the phone case.
Okay, so your phone's inside,
Yeah.
okay.
My phone. And
This
so-
transfers the charge like by induction from the case to your phone battery.
And this will also work on induction chargers, so you can set it on an induction charger, so it'll charge the case and the phone, because the phone's connected to the case. It's all one thing.
The rest of these pictures at the end of the handout are just different kinds of kits or packs for different circumstances. And like backpacking is talking about, there's a fire starter kit, just other things to tickle your imagination about possibilities of what you could have, and be ready to be self-sufficient as possible.
I'm not too keen on having the plastic can of gas in the
Yeah,
car.
that's what I'm gonna ask about.
He had it in the back of his pickup.
Yeah, but even then, if you get creamed, it's a bomb.
Is there a metal, strong, pressurized gas can that they could, like a gallon
They're
size?
more fragile, they tear easier than the plastic cans.
Pardon?
The steel cans puncture easier than the plastic ones.
I still want at least a gallon.
No,
that's small
get
enough.
a truck with a 40-gallon tank.
Well, I've got one that
I
has
got these
60
little things in
gallons,
there
but,
called gas gauges, and, you know, when it gets
Yeah.
down to 20 gallons, you put more
true,
in
but
it.
I can't control my daughter who just killed one car and is out buying another one, but I want her to have some backup. I know some motorcyclists, they actually get the largest, camping gas canister for their little, multi-fuel camp stoves. And they are pressurized, and they put one or two of those in their little side saddlebags. And so if they ever run out of gas unexpectedly, they can at least throw one in there, but,
Some would do it, some would not. So
Yeah.
choose your method or your route.
Pot holders would be good.
What?
Pot holders,
Full.
for if your radiator tank is hot and you need to turn it on or open it. Hot
I'd use the rags, but know that liquid will shoot out and the hot steam liquid go through that and heat, liquid transfers heat way faster than air.
It will get all over you.
And you can burn your hand, you have to be super careful, but
Okay. Most of the car things you're talking about, don't even bother with. Okay, they're beyond most skill sets. Safely. And if you do some of these things and you get scalded by 210 or 12 or whatever
up to
degree
240 with
antifreeze,
yeah.
it is not water, it is a chemical, it is viscous, it will stay on you till it gets cold. Okay, until it's washed off with water. If you don't have water, it's an ethylene glycol, which is poisonous. It's not a propylene glycol, which is safe.
Yep.
Okay, so again,
That's
there's,
zero, right?
it just has a headlamp. You're not gonna change a headlamp. If you need to change a tire, change a tire, if you can. I mean, but understand your skill level and understand the safety of it that you're capable of accomplishing. A quart of oil, you should have checked your oil before you left. If you got a hole in the oil pan, a quart isn't gonna do you any good. If you're out of gas, you should have checked it, or 100 gallons of diesel in the back of the truck with an 80 gallon on board, but you know,
Yeah.
that's a different thought process. So first and foremost, make sure you are safe, out of harm's way, you have a way to stay warm, and you have a way to signal or get the message out. Those are the first and foremost important things. Then you look at how you might be able to self-rescue.
Fire extinguisher?
Well, something that we haven't mentioned, we've either decided not to mention it or it just hasn't come up. Sometimes you will need to protect yourself from different kinds of predators. What are you gonna do? What is your method?
How much time do you have?
3 more minutes.
Which method do you want?
Yes.
Are you deciding whether it's 40 Smith & Wesson or 9mm? Those kinds of choices. I've got a little baseball bat inside of the back of my truck. There's a lot of predators that wouldn't do much for.
You have to carry a mitt also.
Yes. Yes.
Legally, you have to also have a mitt and theoretically a ball. Because it can be deemed a weapon if it's just a baseball bat.
Oh.
But you can carry a 9mm.
You can
That's
carry-
okay, but better not.
A
better have
baseball
gloves.
bat by itself can be a weapon. I'm not gonna tell you how I know.
Don't
I
bring a
wanna
bat,
know.
don't bring a bat to a gunfight.
Yeah, I agree.
or a whip.
Unless you got any.
Or a baton, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Baton.
Okay,
Yes.
so I don't know, Jim Phillips is gone, of course, a couple of years now. Today I got on the email from his wife. We are looking forward to this next chapter, this next year, and hope you will be just as excited as we are. Coming up in January, we will start featuring new videos or Zoom classes to join. With each monthly newsletter and Zoom, we will focus on the 9 Provident Living modules the gym started, while adding a few more areas that are important, such as medical and self-defense. As we have been going through Jim Phillips' things, we have found never before seen videos that we are working to edit and make available to paid members on the website. We are excited to offer this to you and so much more. He was not for all these lists as much as he was for being prepared in your mind.
It was less about having things than it was having knowledge.
Yes.
And, yeah. Well, we have come and heard more than I thought we would, and you wanna say something?
I'll make it really fast.
Good.
The first defensive pistol course I took in 1979 from Dennis Tueller. He was a Salt Lake cop, and he said, I have interviewed over 4,000 violent crime victims, and he said, every one of them said, that guy just came out of nowhere. And he said, I divide people into 2 groups. The first group says, I can't believe this is happening, I'm gonna die. And the other group says, I thought this might happen, I know just what to do. Don't be in the first group.
Thank you.
Oh, one real quick thing, I always take those little orange vests with the retroreflective stripes so they shine back at the headlights. And I put one on the pocket of the driver, so if you end up on the side of the road, you have a high-vis vest with retroreflective tape on it. So if you're fixing a car right on the side, I'd rather be seen and not hurt.
Get a wrecker.
Yeah.
I don't work on cars or change flats on the highway, I call it wrecker.
Yeah, I get as far off as I can.
It's not worth getting killed changing a flat tire.
Sound counsel. Well, thank you for your ideas and thoughts and experiences and everything else. It's been educational. Thank you.